Did you happen to see any clips of Cade in the post game?
Yes.
How did you feel his body language and just kind of how he was just talking to the media? Did
Once
anything like strike you?
Well,
Like,
once again, I thought he was being a professional as best he could, handling, quite frankly, some tough questions. Because he's kind of in a no-win scenario, right? Because look, all the momentum around him is about JJ, right? Like, and he can act like he doesn't realize. They hear it. They hear the noise. They
oh
hear the
yeah,
noise on social
they're
media.
what 20 something years,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
18,
They hear
19,
the
20.
noise.
They live on social media.
Right. They hear
Yes.
the noise on social media. They heard the crowd's reactions. Like he knows what's going on, what's around him. And yeah, I mean, he did. He was the starting quarterback for the team that had really good success last year. And apparently, he said he had his best camp. And I think if you watch the game closely, he did struggle earlier on the game. He looked like he was playing a little tight. And I think what I saw in that press conference was a guy who is frustrated with the situation, um, but he's trying to make the best of it and to be a professional through it as best he can. But it's only human nature based on where he is. I mean, can you blame him? I mean, he's done in terms of starting and having his team win. He's done everything he's been asked to do. Like it's not like Michigan had national title aspirations last year, right? And he was the reason why they didn't get that. No, they exceeded expectations last year, right? And he played a part in that by doing his job. He didn't play spectacular, but he made the throws he needed to make at times throughout the season, and he was steady Eddie throughout the year, right? And so, from his standpoint, I can understand him being quote unquote a little salty about where things are going because like Ed just said, JJ had JJ's well, he said has a prettier girlfriend, but like I think JJ is like the prettier girlfriend in this kind of analogy. People just want JJ, even though he's done everything right. He's given everything he can give, and it doesn't seem to be enough. So I think he's frustrated and he's trying to make the best of a situation. That's what I took from it.
Yeah, you could definitely see the frustration, and I agree with Chris Hicks on Cade was salty after. I don't know about salty, but salty after game because the writing is on the wall, and I truly feel that way that the writing is on the wall. And he just did it. That did not look like a quarterback who just started a game where his team won 51-7. Like
Right.
it didn't look like that. And part of it to me like Kate, like yes, like you mentioned, he's done everything right, but at the same time too, you're also in this position because you have when the chips are all in, and specifically we're talking about this year in camp and game one. Like I just pulled up his numbers. Like I knew he was about 50%, but even like, and I know QBR is something mainly we talk about in the NFL, but Dre, he had a QBR of 39.7, like against
Yeah.
Colorado State.
He wasn't good.
That's
He wasn't
not
good.
like that's not good. Like that's not
He
how
was
you
pressing, man.
take the
He
reins
was
on
pressing,
this
dude.
job.
He was pressing. It was early.
Hmm.
If you really watched the kid, you could tell he was pressing. I mean, off the first drive, man, he was. They called him on the sideline. They called him on the field. He snapped off his helmet because he missed a couple throws through behind guys. He was just off throws that he made easy last year. He just didn't look sharp, and it's only human nature. And I texted to you, Des, like he was pressing. He sees that somebody's right, like GOJ said, someone's right over his shoulder. He showed a natural, basic human nature when you're under pressure because you feel the writing on the wall and you feel that speeding train coming towards your way. Um, so, look, man, I think he's just in a tough position. I think a lot of kids in his seat will do the same thing. It will look very
Hmm.
similar.
Yeah.
Like look, you're competing. You've done everything you can do. You started for this team. You came through for his team when they needed you. And Now you're in a situation where your job is on a line, and it's being like a lot of us are like that in life. Now, a lot of us don't have people right behind us who are looking to take our job necessarily, but when life is, we have a lot of pressure on us. It wears, and you get to see it, right? So it's only human nature what he's exhibiting at this time, uh, because look, let's be honest, especially after starting out last year, he doesn't want to. Of course, he wants to win and he wants to have another Big Ten title, but he doesn't want to go from playing all last year to now being the guy off the bench. Of course not. He wants to keep his starting job. He wants to be with the number ones. So it's and then let's be honest, they're not going to have a Cade package. When JJ takes over, right? It's not going to be they're going to be mixing Cade in for certain type of situations. It's going to be the JJ show, and Cade will probably only get in if the games are getting out of hand, and then they want to keep JJ safe, right? And throw Cade in there. He'll play the garbage minutes, but so it's unfortunate for him, man. But I think he's doing the best he can.
It's something that I thought about earlier today was we brought up the Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence situation, the Tua Jalen Hurts, but really those situations are the exceptions to the rule. You know what I mean? Like we talk about it as if that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't. Like those are the exceptions. Most times the guy who is coming back is the guy who was starting and moving forward. So we just, we brought those situations up because it has happened before, but nonetheless, that's not the norm. Like it's something that is unique. And also too, I think Antoine just mentioned it. If Cade transfers, I think I would love to have him.
Oh,
I absolutely agree. 1,000%.
He'll be a great fit. They look, man.
They would love to have
Corey
Cade.
Will be popping champagne if they got Cade McNamara. Lord have mercy. Did you guys see this past weekend? You don't score versus South Dakota State. You don't score a offensive touchdown. Your scoring output is a field goal and 2 safeties for South Dakota State for a team that just went to the Big Ten title game. Okay, well, yeah.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
Yeah, look,
but
and I said this too. And Des, I mean, how many times have I said this? And for Michigan fans who are raised for Cade to kick Cade out the door. There are plenty.
All right, let's not. We don't have to say it like that.
Yeah, but
for Cade, if Cade decides to transfer, we're not kicking anybody out the door.
He would have plenty of suitors.
Yes, he would,
for legitimate programs. He will not have to go play for, a 1AA team to get a starting position. There will be plenty of legitimate opportunities for that kid to play and have a chance to play for something legitimate. I think that even though he's not the best quarterback in Michigan anymore, I still think that he's still I'll say Cade's a top 10 quarterback in a conference.
in the conference, yeah, I think
so. If that's the case, dude, there's other jobs in this conference. Case in point, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, where he could start right away. And I think you can see that. I think he fits a lot of those programs' identity. So there's a chance that if Cade walks out that door, that we could see him against us one day. And
I know Graham Mertz did that freshman year he had was really good, but last year wasn't great for him, at least not early. I think he came on a little later, but GOJ puts Iowa would love anybody in this chat. I actually do think that that Cade would perform well at Iowa. I think a big part of Iowa's issues is their OC. Like Brian Ferentz is atrocious. And then if there's one thing I can't stand is coaches who just try to pawn off stuff to the players and he didn't go, he wasn't the Scott Frost. The offensive staff needs to be more creative, but to sit in a press conference or media session and say that, well, there were throws there, the quarterback should dude, just own it. You're a bad OC. Like you are a bad OC.
Dude,
just own that.
Offensive touchdown about South Dakota State.
Just own it.
Everybody is under fire. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
There ain't nobody that can avoid that.
It should be Kirk Ferentz as well. You need to be under fire too because you made the decision to have your son as the OC, and he's been bad since he's been the OC.
Dude, literally, there should be boos for that offense. Actually, for what they did. I mean, that is criminal for especially that being a national televised game. You talking about, oh my God, like 21 punts in that game, Desmond, between both teams. 21 punts.
Oh,
Insane.
that is
Insane. So no, the point is, yeah, I mean, look, we're joking, but no, I mean, I think there's legitimate chance, and Adrian's, your thing about, Cade, our offensive talent helping Cade. Sure, there's an element of that, but I think at the end of the day is that I think you're underestimating. If you have a smart decision maker, a quote unquote game manager, a serviceable quarterback, that helps steady a lot for your offense. Now, no, you're not going to take your offense to another level. So, Cade, let's say in a hypothetical situation, if Cade went to Iowa, for example, he lost his job, and after this season, he decided to come back for his fifth year or whatever it was, and he goes to Iowa or something, right? No, he's not going to take their offense to a whole nother level, but he could be a steady Eddie decision maker. He would be an upgrade over what they have had. So, um, let's say they have a solid team like they had last year. Well, if you have a better quarterback than you had last year, then you should be able to win 9 or 10 games and get to the Big Ten title game from the West, right? Well, I think that's pretty successful if you're an Iowa fan. I'm not. I can't speak for them, but I'm just saying, you know.
Look at this comment from Ferris. Oh my word, that is
Look, man,
rough.
it was
That's
embarrassing.
rough. It was very rough.
It was
It
rough.
was
It was for a weekend of, I think, exciting games. I mean, there are a couple fan bases that were taking Pepto Bismol after their game. Iowa fans, Oregon fans for sure.
yikes.
You talk about, like, can you imagine, or if you're an Oregon fan, you probably were so
LSU
hyped.
fans,
LSU
yikes.
fans, but if you're an Oregon fan, you're probably so hyped, like, oh my God, of course you're a little upset that Mario Cristobal left, but still, you got like a nice addition in Lanning, and you feel pretty good about where your program is. You still like, hey, we still can win the Pac-12, and you go out there and you're like, hey, we're playing against national champions. Be a nice test for us, and that wasn't even a test. I mean, that was like, you writing your name on the paper, and like literally you might as well just balled it up and threw it in the garbage and took an F. Like that was that I don't even know what to say.